26. I'm joined here with my good friend and everybody's good friend and a local legend, Alan McDonald.
Thank you. Nice to be with you, Mr. Ryden.
It's always a pleasure. Now, if you're wondering where we are not in the WinCam studio. We are actually live in the front window of Lucia's downtown for something a little different. So live coverage here at Lucia's restaurant in downtown Winchester. So we'll see how this works out this evening, but we hope to have our results in very shortly. We have somebody at the polls. Our WinCam president is at the polls collecting the results, and if everything works out well, we'll get them on the iPad here, and we'll be able to bring them to you. But so in the meantime, why don't we talk about what we're looking at for races here. Our moderator and our host this evening, Phil Frateroli, is running unopposed for another term as the moderator. And then we move on to Select Board.
We have three very good races going on. We have a challenge for the Select Board. We have a race for the Planning Board and a race for the School Committee. All three very, very interesting races.
Right.
And, of course, an override, general override of $11.5 million, which has been very well presented to the town. See how the town reacts to the presentation and the argument in favor.
Right. We had the State of the Town Committee that was working almost all through last year, I think, analyzing the finances of the town, looking at potential new sources for revenue for the town, and I think they made a very persuasive case for needing this override.
You and I have been doing this for a little while, Alan, and to my way of thinking, the State of the Town work that was done by that committee is perhaps the most effective and best detail presenting the town situation that I've seen. And I really felt the talent and the way the presentation was made, whether you're in favor or not, was top shelf. I mean, it really was done by very, very bright, dedicated people to the future of this town.
I think they were meeting for like 6 months every week, and so we'll see. Of course, that's we'll find out shortly whether that override passed. But again, it was an $11 million override, of which about $1.2 million is going to capital stabilization fund and the capital building maintenance fund.
And you know what I think is interesting tonight, Alan, is the 100th anniversary of the town meeting committee being formed to become representative, not having the whole town show up for the town meeting. Because in the suffrage vote in 1920, we went doubling the votes that we had in town meeting, of course, and it took all this time, 1926, to form a committee to open up for representative town meeting. We had 4,500 voters at that time, too much for Town Hall's auditorium. So the committee was formed, they came back and recommended, yes, let's have representative, and the town meeting voted barely, 54 to 46, said good idea. Nobody wanted to be running for representative. But then the first representative town meeting happened in the vote in 1928 to put people here in 1929. But tonight's the 100th anniversary of starting off the look into having representative town meeting.
So it was an open town meeting that voted for a representative town meeting.
So it was open town meeting, that's exactly right. They voted for representative, and then the town vote, it had to be a town-wide ballot.
Yep.
And the town-wide ballot passed 2-1. In favor.
In favor.
2-1 in favor.
Yeah.
And almost 4,000 votes. Almost everybody voted. So.
And look at that. 100 years ago tonight.
Yeah. Now we're over 17,000 voters. So that's the kind of growth in 100 years. We've more than tripled the number of voters.
And some of our expenses have gone up too.
Well, that's true. That's a bigger budget. The budget in 1980, when I first was holding a seat at the town meeting on the board, was $20 million. We had a $20 million budget, and $2 million million went right to pensions because we didn't have funded pensions then. So we really only had an $18 million budget for the current town activities. That was only 46 years ago. That's all right.
You've been around a while.
Anyway, we're off to tonight, and really a full schedule for the campaigns for townwide office. We have, and the townwide office holders are across the town. We have representatives from every one of the 8 precincts holding a townwide office on either the select board, planning board, school committee. It's a fantastic array across the town. In fact, on the Board of Selectmen, the 5 members are from 5 different precincts. Planning board, 4 out of the 5 different precincts, and the school committee, all 5 are from 5 different precincts. So it spreads across. That's the way it is across the board.
And that is the way it should be.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have all this concentrated in 1 or 2 or 3 precincts.
There have been times when it's been a little weighted in favor of 2 or 3 precincts for townwide office, but not now. It really spreads across. There's very, very strong representation from the edges of the town precincts, not just in the
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about what we've got for races.
Okay.
We've got a select board race where Michelle Pryor is the incumbent running for re-election, and the challenger is Seamus Brady, an interesting situation, who is the husband of another sitting member.
Well, that's true. So if Seamus wins, he'll be 2 from the same precinct. But you're right. A very interesting race because Michelle has been for 8 years now in town office, planning board and chair, and then moderator for 4 years, and well known and well structured with working with other committees.
Right.
And Seamus Brady sees a chance that maybe more progressive activity on the board would be to his liking. It was a very interesting race. He said himself, I don't know who I'm going to vote for. And it was a very interesting debate when they were having the debate because he was agreeing with almost everything Michelle was saying. But he is a more progressive candidate, and he had 3 years on the school committee and showed that. And so he's working to bring in the vote to show more activity. It really depends on what you feel the board should be doing. Collaboration is what Michelle's strength has been, I think, and that she has been, knowledgeable about what all the other boards are doing. I think her work on the finance committee when she was chair really helped that. But she sees the need to think it through and not move quickly. Seamus is not as patient with that, which is all right. That's worked for others, and so it's an interesting combination for 2 very different candidates, and we'll see what happens with it. But
it'll be interesting. Of course, there is the question whether a husband and wife should be a voting bloc on the select board. So
it will cause an open meeting discussion for sure. But we'll see what happens. It's not against the rules, but
nope, it isn't.
It would make it a very different chemistry on the board. No
right, and that was the comment I would hear around town. Is like, is that legal? I said, it is.
It's legal.
There's no rules against that. Of course, you wonder who's going to watch the kids, but that would be their problem.
It'll be interesting.
So we'll see. Again, Michelle's the incumbent here, and Seamus is the challenger. Board of Assessors. Boy, I got to put my glasses on to read some of these.
Rich Yanzi on the Board of Assessors again. He came on. He actually, came on and did a split term before he was elected. Last election was his first full term on the Assessors, and so he's running for a second full term.
Right. And like I say, running unopposed.
Running unopposed, yeah, he is. All
right, I'm keeping an eye on my phone here to.
When he came on, it was George Anderson's 10th term, I think.
Oh yeah, right.
He succeeded George, who didn't finish his 10th term, but that's it.
Sorry, I'm fiddling with my phone here because we're waiting to see supposed to be emailed the results. So
All right. Well, while you're doing that,
keep half an eye on
you want to
that.
do the school committee or the planning
Well,
board?
let's go down the ballot. Board of Health.
Oh, Board of Health. All right. Greg Sawicki. Dr. Greg Sawicki. Very good on public health situations, and he's come on the board again. He came on for a split term, and this is his second full term being elected. Very active in what we call the public health sphere, and he's been very, very strong in bringing that to the Board of Health. So he's unopposed.
Unopposed.
Reelected.
Right. So then we move on to planning board, where we got 3 candidates, 2 incumbents, and a challenger going for 2 seats.
So Terry Layton and Nick Rosettos are both running for their second full term. They have really, as Nick Rosetto said in the debate, that the chemistry that's on the current planning board, the different skills that the planning board has. I don't know if you've seen a more active planning board, but they have been so busy the last couple of years. And the strength of the board at the moment is that they bring different skills. Each of them brings different skills to the party. And Amy Bellavo is a town meeting member, for a few years of town meeting and Precinct 7, and active and knowledgeable on real estate issues for sure. And is making an honest offer to be part of the planning board, but you'll have to unseat 2 very strong incumbents, in my opinion. They have had 3 very, very full years in their first full term on the downtown planning, North Main Street planning, over here on the lot across from the firehouse,
and the
Waterfield lot. I mean, it's over and over.
Yeah, and the MBTA zoning, the MBTA rules, and which in many towns have been very, very contested and very, Milton. I guess Milton's a case where they're challenging in court. And I've had people ask me, so how did Winchester do it? I said, we went right through. We had our zoning for the North Main Street zoning was pretty much compliant with the MBTA zoning. And of course, we have the Waterfield lot has already been rezoned. So we got we were lucky in that we were in pretty good place, and I remember the town meeting vote was overwhelming for it, so it wasn't really contested.
A lot of progress. The issue is still how much housing can you build, and how can you keep up with the demands at the state level for more housing. And it's hard in a community of this size, of course, and that was part of the campaign situation, and Amy Bellavo brought that forward. We could do more. When you're the challenger, you always know we could do more. Even as the incumbent, we could do more. And so there's not disagreement about that. But there was a very good debate. 3 quality people running for the office, 2 incumbents, and 1 challenger for one of the 2 seats.
Right. Well, we'll see how that shakes out. Then we move on to school committee. Very interesting situation there.
Very. 2 different candidates for sure. Heather Von Meering, who's had her opportunity to be in the limelight at the town level now for a few years' time, having chaired planning and having been town moderator. And on comes a very attractive young man, John Belair, all of 23 or so, and he's ready to go. And he sees an opportunity as a public school graduate himself in Winchester. Why can't we do more of data control and operating towards data? And he's made a very strong case for how he would see opportunities to do specific steps in public education.
Right.
Certainly from a visibility point of view, Heather Von Meering is really more knowledgeable, you would have to say, of the history of the last few years of town.
Right.
But you're always looking for new people to come along and bring some new ideas. And here's a young man who's done that.
A very vigorous campaign. A lot of when I was voting today, he has a lot of high school and college kids out working for him, which is great. I mean, we really need to bring the young people in, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Heather's got strong name recognition.
Oh,
and a lot of experience. So she's had a couple of years off, and now obviously wants to jump back into the pool.
A lot of times in campaigns, the name recognition is the winning factor,
right?
But not always. And in truth, for people who were looking at the campaign and thinking about more progressive attention in certain areas of the school curriculum, they might be drawn to the new candidate. But certainly, I would say, from listening to the debate, two very qualified people, and even to say about a young man just coming in for his first run, and he's a candidate for town meeting. He hasn't been at town meeting yet, but he's a candidate on the ballot for both school committee and town meeting. Right.
Yeah, he was. I was very impressed during the debate. He did a great opening statement, and both of them did very well. But it was impressive that he could come right off the cuff. He knew every single question that was not. They didn't get the questions in advance, and he was very good with his answers. So
he presented himself well. The Morocco School alumni have to be proud of his run for office. So we'll see how that goes.
It's good. Library Board of Trustees, who are just a newcomer, and one candidate for one seat.
Angela Murdoch is retiring after 3 terms, and Victoria Garcia Alvear is also retiring. And so there were 2 seats, and Catherine Ho is running for one of them. The only write-in opportunity for townwide is that second seat on the Library Board of Trustees, as well as a 2-year town meeting term open seat on precinct 2. So those are 2 write-in opportunities for people.
Interesting. So as I recall, last year, Kathy Alexander was too late to pull papers, and she ran a write-in campaign.
She ran a very vigorous write-in campaign. I'm trying to think of 500 and something votes write-in, if I remember. It was great. It was a lot. There was a substantial number of write-ins for Kathy.
Well, and for somebody who has great name recognition.
I should say so,
all those children's theater votes came in.
For those children's theater votes, they got old enough to vote. So
probably.
They finally got old enough to vote.
Mrs. A, as they call her. They elected Mrs. A. Wrote her in. Housing Authority, another candidate for one seat. I think it's only one seat.
Brenda Klasinski was on the Housing Authority from 2013 to 2025. So she did a dozen years. She was a write-in candidate last year. For some reason, I guess she didn't file papers. So she's back as the Housing Authority candidate to be elected for 1 year. But she's highly experienced. Brenda is on the Housing Authority. So she's bringing a lot to the party in the Housing Authority stuff.
We're not going to be giving results for town meeting tonight, but I think most of the precincts had contested races. Most of them, I think, had 9 candidates for 8 seats.
Yeah, we only had one open seat. That is in precinct 8. We have 7 candidates on one open seat. But all the other ones are full. That's correct. And so we have a total of 74 candidates for the 64 seats. We have 8 per precinct over 8 precincts, so 64. 74 candidates, 50 of them incumbents. So we have 50 incumbents, which guarantees at least 14 new people there. And we have 5 temporary 1-year and 2-year terms available. So actually, we'll see at least 19 new members at town meeting. And every year of 192 at town meeting, we have between 10 and 11% turnover. It's actually held steady all these years we've been doing this, that we have between 18 and 22 to 24 new people every year. It's interesting. And yet we still have, even today, we have on this ballot 4 former select board members, 1 current. We have 2 current school committee members on the town meeting ballot. 2 former school committees. We have a number of former planning board, finance committee people on. So we still have a strong base at town meeting.
Experience.
Strong base.
Yeah.
But we do continue to have turnover. Some of the old timers go, but we also bring in new.
Could you define old timers?
Yeah, you and me.
All right. Our host and yes, I'm gonna. Does that mean I have results? Okay. Well, why don't we? This is way too soon. But Phil, you want to join us over here? Our host and town moderator. You guys can talk while I figure this out.
Mr. Moderator, hold on to this webcam here.
First-time caller, long-time listener, so I'm very excited to be on with you guys.
You're a long-time pro involved in this stuff, and Phil, thank you so much for having us here, Mr. Moderator. This is a fun opportunity for us to be in the middle of all this success.
Well, I've watched you guys since I was very young, so I'm just I'm honored that you guys are here. I'm honored to be in a seat that was held by so many of my heroes growing up, and it's a great day in the town whenever we all get together and make choices for the community.
Isn't that the truth? Huh? Now tell me, because you've been ever since a little kid, a little baby, 3-year-old guy, you've been in town and you've built yourself up to be a phenomenal influence, frankly. And here you are, Mr. Town Moderator. It's a wonderful story, and you're active in the community. You're successful in so many ways, and you're bringing that to the town meeting and to town government, and we're grateful for it.
Well, I really appreciate those very kind words, and my mom was a member of the town meeting when I was a kid. She was on the finance committee, and I remember watching the meetings with John Sullivan and all these legends from the town, the role is really, it's a dream come true for me, and it's the least I can do to give back to a town that has been so important to my story and my family story. And
well, it's part of the town, and I think of it. I remember her doing the finance committee. She was a fabulous finance committee person, and we'd be over here. She was great to bring us over here. Your dad too, but she was really influential there.
Well, I remember those days that we used to have a 3-cornered thing on the top of our car because Winchester wouldn't allow. I don't know if they did it, but the practice wasn't to have lawn signs. So all the cars would be decked out with those tri-corner things. My grandfather was a carpenter, so he had made my mom's campaign one. So
before that, the cycle has been, it was the dump once upon a time, now the transfer station. And then we went to stick signs, and then we went to rooftops, and then the lawn signs. And I can remember Harry Shuffalo. You remember Harry? And Harry was a real old timer. And I remember when you saw the rooftops going by, you said, "I like the old way." The old way was to put 2 ads in the Winchester Star, and that was the whole campaign.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago because we don't even have that anymore.
That's true. That's exactly right. But you're great to have us in here, and the crowd in here is full of excitement, and it's really fun to see it.
Once the word got out that you would be here, I think we're much busier than we usually are at this hour on a Saturday night.
I thought we'd scare them away.
No, after a couple years off, we're glad to have you back at it.
Well, it's really fun, and you got a big town meeting coming up, Mr. Mark.
We do.
A lot of stuff going on.
Not quite as long as last spring. I think it's about 44 warrant articles this time around. Last time it was 56. But a couple of bylaw things to clean up from the last go-around. Obviously, tonight's results will have a big impact on what we have in terms of money to spend in the financial section of town meeting. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it would be great to get some new faces on town meeting and have some veterans be able to teach.
You're going to have over 10% new faces. I was just saying to Alan Iden that it's been every year for 40 years or so. It's about 10% turnover, and that's and this time there were 14 seats for town meeting, 50 incumbents running for 64 seats. So you're guaranteed 14 new plus 5 with 1 and 2 year terms.
Yeah.
That's if all the incumbents win. If they don't, you're going to have 20-something new. But you've got a strong group in there. Even on this 1 year election, you've got 4 former Board of Selectmen people, or Select Board people, 1 current, 2 school committee members, and 2 current and 2 formers.
One moderator. I'm up this year too.
1 moderator right in there doing. When we did the town charter, we had the town moderator have to run for town meeting.
Well, it's interesting because we've been working on the town meeting time stuff, and that actually comes into play because town meeting suggests that the moderator should not be a member of town meeting. And
Well, up until 1915, the town meeting elected the town moderator, so it had to be from town meeting. And then the charter didn't come in until, I guess, townwide.
Well, in 27 we started electing the town.
That's what it was, 20s,
27 we went from an open town meeting, and since then the moderators always run. John always ran, Peter, Heather. So it's, the argument against it is that the moderator takes a voice away from his precinct. In Winchester, we don't really vote on a precinct-to-precinct level like that. And the moderator does have the distinction to be able to break or make a tie. So the precinct doesn't lose a vote. It just loses a voice. And so, but we'll see what happens.
Very interesting. There's an argument either side. I kind of like to have the moderator be able to break a tie myself.
Well, there's times sometimes the moderator has something to say about it. I actually kind of broke a little bit with the norm to work through some of our procedural things in the fall, so I can see a value to having a moderator want to vote.
So I hate to interrupt, but we've got breaking news. We don't have the totals yet. There's a couple of upsets.
Oh, really?
Don Belair is the winner for the school committee.
How about that?
And the override is lost.
Wow. That's final.
So that's a text we just got from our rep over at I'm still waiting for all the totals and everything to come in, but
that's a surprise. Well, congratulations to John. I remember when I was the youngest member of town meeting, and now he'll be the youngest, and Winchester grad, and I think he'll do great things for the town.
The Morocco School alumni will be very proud. That's right.
The fighting the magicians of Morocco have another feather in the hat.
All right. Okay.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Mr. Moderator.
Thanks for hosting.
Philip Pratololi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Well, that is, we just talked about the campaign with John Belair and Heather, and that's exactly what happened. People can watch and say, boy, we're excited about somebody new coming on. And, and that will be an exciting time. I think Heather's still got an awful lot to offer the town, frankly, over the years ahead. She's already done it, and there's more in the tank, I know, because I saw her in the campaign. So, but John Belair put the case forward. He was bold about it. He didn't pull any punches. He said, "This is what I think about more data, more, analysis, and all that." So,
well, of course, as always, we have to say these are preliminary results, and that was literally just the text that I got was people are shouting various things.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we should say that these are very, very unofficial.
Let me say that again on Precinct 3. Precinct 3 is yes, 4 to no to it. Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay. Well, it's an indication on the override. Precinct 3 is usually stronger yes than that particular vote, frankly. It's only 100 plus votes apart. So that means you have to make up more in other precincts. I think that's a good indicator as to what the problem was in getting people to support the override.
It's going to be a lot of scrambling to reorganize the town's finances. I think there are a lot of people in town government.
Do we have results on the select board?
We don't. We don't. Again, that's all I have at the moment. I'm waiting, hopefully, get a spreadsheet.
Well, I have an opportunity here to have Michelle Pryor, chair of the select board.
So we're waiting for the only results we've got so far was the override and school committee.
Okay. I don't have my official results yet either.
Yeah,
but
well-
here I've won.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Preliminary results.
Preliminary results.
Right.
I don't have the margins. And I have not heard school committee result. What is the school committee results?
John Belair.
John Belair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Again, we don't have the figures. This was just a text from Sean over at the
Everybody.
and the override went down.
I heard the override fails 53% to 47%.
Yeah.
That's
Again,
the only
I'm
one I have.
waiting for a whole spreadsheet with the precinct by precinct. So hopefully we'll have that at some point.
Okay.
Well, preliminary congratulations to you.
Thank you.
How about that?
Looks like somebody in the room, 2,800 for me, 1,100 for Mr. Brady.
Okay.
So I think I won.
Oh, very strong.
What was that?
Very nice, very strong
Yeah.
performance.
Thank you.
Well, I think you presented yourself very well in the campaign, and we were talking earlier, Madam Chair, that Seamus had an interesting campaign. He was saying he didn't know who he was going to vote for.
Yeah.
And then when you were presenting yourself, he was shaking his head yes so often. He said, I'm not sure what the situation is. But of course, he was on the school committee, and he's a very progressive candidate, and
Yes.
he had an idea about what he wanted to bring to the party. But your performance, frankly, I think collaboration, thinking things through, and your involvement in so many things as chair of the board, and even when you weren't chair, has paid off in terms of people understanding who you are.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you for that, Alan. I'm exactly what I was on the finance committee. I'm exactly who I am sort of every day of the week. And I'm not going to change and try to, switch one way or the other. If people like the way I process things and make decisions, give me another term. If they don't, that's okay. But I ran as who I am and who I've always been. And happy to have a second term for sure.
With the defeat of the override, that's going to be a challenge.
That would be a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of processing that news. I heard that when I walked through the door.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Absolutely.
It is a surprise, I think, because
Yes.
the presentation was so strong. I think if the presentation wasn't, it would be a bigger surprise.
A lot of work went into coming up with that number. A lot of work went into the size and the timing, and we've got some work to do. That's what that tells me on the select board. We've got a lot of work to do to try to find that revenue, to figure out which kinds of initiatives might need to wait a year. I expect we'll be back to the voters with an override within the year. But we've got some work to do going into the next budget season for
The
sure.
general override is hard. I mean, we've had 17 general override questions, only 4 were successful.
Oh wow, Alan, I did not know
We
that.
had 13 no's to 4 yeses on general. Different on the debt override. Debt
Right.
override were 10 yes and 6 no, but on general, only 4 yeses. And the last no was 2013, so I mean, we were thinking maybe, the people realized through the presentation that it was an honest effort to become up to date.
Yeah, and I remember that 2013 override. It was a lot smaller. I was on the finance committee at the time. It failed. Obviously, 2019 it passed. We know we needed one. Whether it was last fiscal year, this fiscal year, or next fiscal year, we knew we needed an override. So I'm surprised.
So the truth is that they're fairly modest. The general overrides have passed at a total of about $16 million.
Yeah.
Over 4 of them. And so compared with what the budget is and the needs, relatively modest compared to the debt overrides.
That's so
for
true.
sure.
And when I was sort of reflecting on this, with some folks were asking me about the override, and obviously we did a lot of work in St. Town. Paris did a ton of work. Shout out to him for being the chair, and I was the vice chair. And hours and hours of work. Mr. Golubov was in a bunch of meetings. When I looked at the override in 2019, we asked voters for $8 million for operating and $2 million for capital.
Yeah.
We came back in 2026 and asked voters for $9 million in operating and $2.5 million in capital. They were very much sort of in the same ballpark. I mean, they were $1 million or $500,000 apart. So even relative to the last ask, it was this incremental increase, and I think that's, which to me I thought, gosh, if we made the case in 2019 for 8.2, I would think making the case for 9 and 2.5 would have been, not such a hard sell. And we've got some work to do to figure out this year's budget, explain to voters we'll need another operating override, that's for sure. Our capital needs, whether we need to look at a debt exclusion or a different package of projects, I don't know, but the operating problem doesn't go away just because the override fails.
This certainly was the homework was done last year. So
we got the receipts to show you, right?
Yeah.
We got the book for sure.
But and I'm kind of surprised too. Somehow the message didn't get out properly. I mean, the background and the work and everything. And I know the State of the Town Committee worked really 6 months. Was it 6 months?
About 8 months start to finish now.
Yep.
And, we started in June. We wrapped up in January. But
Yep.
generally, June to December was the real heavy lift.
Yeah.
January was, writing up the reports and things. And Select Board was, late January into February on deciding on the final amounts. And the numbers were, they were never, there was never no one at the Select Board table who said we don't need an override. There was never anyone saying, 0. Or, I'm at 6 and you're at 16. We were within the ballpark of each other the entire time. None of us were saying we shouldn't be doing this now. It's a lot to process.
I think even for those who voted no, they'd have to say that there was an honest presentation.
Yes.
And those who feel is not the need, they'll find out during the course of the year whether that's true or not.
Yes, that's true.
So my guess is that this is the 34th override vote we've had in 38 years, so from 1988 till now. And we'll have another one along the way, I'm sure. Of course, the next one might be debt override rather than general, as we know, but we'll see.
Yes.
But I think that the work is there. You're going to be up to it. And
I will be up to it.
Michelle, I think we can congratulate you. I got 28-23 to 11-40.
very substantial.
Okay.
So, and I guess the override, the figures coming in are yes 2265 and no 2558.
It's close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, congratulations on running a very nice campaign. Because
Thank you.
You were very professional. You didn't get flustered by the fact that we were going to have two out of the same household. You were very plain about the difficulties that would make for open a meeting, but that's okay. You handled it beautifully.
Does the select board have a child care budget?
We do not. We do not.
Wait a minute, problem. And the figures on school committee here are John Belair 2119 to Heather was 1880.
And do we have a planning board result?
Not yet. I was hoping we were going to have a whole spreadsheet with the whole ballot, but
fair enough.
we're kind of
I'm not
dribbling
looking
in
at my
here.
phone right now to try to be distracted by that, but I expect to be some close races.
Kerry and Amy.
Kerry and Amy.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I don't have totals, but that's what I was just told.
Surprise! I thought Nick Rosettos did a very nice presentation of the campaign.
I saw Nick everywhere I turned around. He was at a lot of events. He was there all day today. Okay, I'd be curious about those margins as well. I think I might have needed to go compose myself before I walked on set. There's a lot right in here.
This is it. You never can guess ahead of time too much,
It's like public comment on television.
That's exactly
You don't know what's coming.
That's exactly right. It's like people say, people even this year say, who do you predict? I don't predict anything.
Smart.
Because I said if I could predict what I hope would happen is people would work hard together when we get through this, and because there's going to be a lot of work ahead.
Yes.
That's what we have to do.
So our rep over there said, FYI, my school committee numbers don't match what somebody quoted.
Oh, okay.
Well,
No more quotes. It's fine.
Marion will send final, but I'm going over the school committee again.
Okay.
Again, our plan was to have a whole spreadsheet so we could look at
Agreed.
precinct by precinct, but
Madam Chair, we we've never been known for our technological skills in this program.
Well, we are in uncharted territory. This is not a studio.
This is not. It's part of your brand, Alan. And we're endeared to all of us, so that's good.
Just kind of bump along.
We try to get it right, but we have fun doing it.
Oh,
And
my
if you're
goodness.
off by a dozen here and there, I think we'll give you some grace.
Okay, very good, yeah. Oh, my
We
goodness.
Terry and Amy now.
So how are we
Okay.
doing precinct 4? Do we know yet? I won't ask.
Don't have, yeah.
How about that?
Again,
I was not up for town meeting. I was up on the ballot last year. And there was almost, I think, all the precinct 8 had contested town meeting races this
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
Some with, 11 people going for 8 slots or, 10, 11, and 12. That's great to see some additional interest in
Yeah.
town government.
It is.
It was good to have I saw Seamus today, and he threw his hat in the ring. It certainly made me have to, why am I running? What's my point of view? What do I hope to do? So having an opponent requires you to have to sort of, explain. And I was ready for that, and I had a good team with me. I got to give a shout out to Bill and Charlene Van, Maura Sullivan, Heidi Rudstein, Jason Roeder, and Hafiza Danji, who were part of my team and helped.
This is why we like
With all the
this
things.
opportunity for candidates.
Absolutely.
You got thanks.
Some of them are on my team 3 years ago. Some were new to the group this year, and always grateful for people who want to show up for you and spend hours with me today outside. So thank you, Alan. All right.
Great to see
Am I
you.
done?
Thank you for coming by. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
I'll see you at town hall.
You bet. All right.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, take care. See you soon. All right. Very good. Okay. All right. Okay. Very good. All right.
All right. So I'm getting results by text here. I don't have Wi-Fi, but I'm working on it. So at some point. So
All right. How about
that's
that?
going to be. So we got a couple of shakeups here. I'm
Well, it's
actually
interesting
surprised.
because,
Well, you know better than I the history of overrides. Capital, for a school or something like that, boom, they always go through. But general overrides are tough, and I don't think anybody questions about the amount of homework that was done in this. I mean, there were a lot of people working very hard on it. Somehow, the message didn't get out.
Yeah, the debt overrides, of the 10 successful votes on debt override, 8 of them are schools, and that's 90% of the money that was voted. For the other
Right.
2 was Skillings Field and the Hamilton Farm. When that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
up,
right. Yeah.
and so those 2 were a total of under 30 million. The schools are 300 million, so on debt override. And
Yeah.
with state money, and it's not all 300 from the town because the state is putting a lot of that money in as well. But we had to approve it in order to get the state money. We had to put the money up first.
Right.
But the debt override is easier because I think it's been shown that way that the voters can see
where the
what
money's
it is.
going, yeah.
And particularly the commitment for the schools. We lost the debt override when it was to redo the police station, fire station, town hall, library, going on.
Too
But
much.
when it was schools, they said, okay, we're going to do it. And we still managed to do the work on those other buildings. But the budget item is harder for people to understand sometimes, thinking, well, there are going to be opportunities for us to cut in other areas.
Well, and the comments I'm hearing, well, it's going to bump up your taxes. Well, I got news for you. Your taxes are going up anyway. It's a matter of how much your taxes will go up.
It is understandable, and there is an argument
It's
against
tough.
it. But what I have said before is that the work that went into this was really professional by volunteer
Right.
people who are professionals themselves. But it's all sincere that, it depends on what are the services you want. This is a wonderful community that's used to having very, very talented public service people, employees for the community and volunteers for the community. And it does take a lot to run the show. And so,
And, the basic math, since Proposition 2.5 came in, you've got to understand, if you're only getting a raise of 2.5% per year, and your expenses are going up, inflation alone is going 3 to 5% a year, we're going to run out of money at some point.
Well, the article even today in the Boston Globe is that we had so many communities in dire straits financially across the board.
Yes.
And it's because the health care is 14% up.
Right.
There's so many things are more than 2.5%. That's true. But in any event, the town will go back and work on the budget. As the Finance Committee said, Derek Ross, who chair of the Finance Committee, did a fabulous job on State of the Town. When they said to him, do you have a second budget ready to go? He said, no, it's hard enough to do one budget. We've got a budget. If it doesn't pass, we're going to obviously go back and meet with a lot of people and have discussions about what it means.
Right.
And it will mean a different level of activity next year, and we'll see. And the town can determine, the people who are voters in the town, whether or not that's what they were hoping for, those who didn't want the override. We'll see.
Now, here's an interesting thought. With the fact of the past 3 weeks, you think war in Iran, gas prices going through the roof, people feeling uncomfortable about their income and their expenses. I wonder if that might have had an effect. I mean, it was a fairly close vote, but you wonder if something like that might have pushed it in one direction or the other.
Well, I think it's legitimate. They say that general overrides have always been tough, and because it does affect the immediate tax bill. It's because it makes it permanent, and it builds it into the budget. And so the debt override doesn't do that. We're going to pay it off. And there's an argument for debt override because you're going to create a capital asset, and you're going to spread it out over 20 to 30 plus years.
Right.
And that means that all the people over the next 20 or 30 years will pay for it, not the current people paying all at once for the whole capital project.
Right.
So but it is an interesting argument. But very interesting election. Congratulations to John Belair making a statement for sure.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. And I think the Michelle Pryor and Seamus Brady race was a very interesting race. Seamus came forward and offered an opportunity for something different, and made life interesting, frankly.
And he did it. He did a decent showing too.
He did.
He didn't. He came up there, but.
And we'll see you on the planning board. And certainly, if Amy Belleville is successful, as we heard, we're going to get the official on that. She made a good case for how we're going to do more in housing opportunities, and she herself had experiences with zoning and planning board stuff. She brought that experience to the campaign, and she'll bring it to the planning board itself. It is fair to say for Nick Lusettos, if Nick is not reelected, he did a yeoman's bit of work on the planning board.
Yeah.
Many hours. We talked at the start of this broadcast about the work that they had done on so many projects, and his work in particular on North Main Street was significant, or is significant, and he commented on during the campaign about that. And his vision, and not just his vision, but others as well, but he expressed it, to see the development, the mixed-use development going up North Main Street, really enhancing the view in the town, the opportunities in the community to do more with our commercial, residential space is really significant, because that's the push, and it was clear in the planning board campaign, the push for more commercial revenue if we can find it, and more housing if we can find it. And so, the idea of working those things together as much as possible.
And we're going to see probably the first example of that in the redevelopment of the Meineke shop in North Main Street.
Yeah,
and the pictures I've seen look pretty nice there. And again, like I say, it's retail on the first level, and I I think there's 3 more levels of residential. If you're just joining us, first of all, we are here live at it's the Alan and Alan show. Just wonder if people haven't got tired of this, but we don't. We are here live at Lucia's restaurant in downtown Winchester, so a little different venue here. We're being hosted by our town moderator, who, if you just tuned in, we had him interviewed a few minutes ago.
Mr. Philip Frateroli, our town moderator.
Frateroli. We were, it's been a bit of a technological challenge doing this outside the studio, so we have not got our precinct by precinct results. We do know there's, I would say, I guess somewhat of an upset in the school committee race where Heather Von Meering, who's been on numerous committees and was recently our town moderator, was challenged by John Belair, who's probably all of 25 years old.
I don't know if he's made 25 yet. I think
okay.
Just short.
So he may do that. But he has been elected to the school committee. Again, all our results here, we do say, are unofficial at this point, but the figures I'm getting are Heather is 1,841 votes to 2,166. So very impressive campaign and a very well organized campaign on John Belair's part. And like you said, he's also probably going to be a town meeting member. We don't have the results on that. The other big story is the defeat of the override. That went down, where are my figures here?
53-47, I think.
Percentage was, yeah.
53% no, 47% yes.
Yes was 2265, no 2558. How'd you get the percentages that quick? Mine got a mind like a steel trap there.
I had a little birdie told me.
Okay. All right. You got the hint. So,
congratulations to Heather Von Meering to 8 years, the last 8 years in townwide office. Very effective chair of the planning board and town moderator 4 years.
And with kids, so
John Belair made a good case, and people came to it, and congratulations to him.
Yeah.
So he'll bring a certain spirit to the school committee that will be interesting to watch.
I know he is in the educational field. I'm not exactly sure what he does, but his profession is in the education field. So
he's a data collector and analysis for a non-for-profit national education group. And so he's gained some experience there that he feels is valuable to the town. So,
and of course, a graduate of Morocco, McCall, and high school. So gone through the town. So through a child of the school system. So I don't know whether we're going to get all our results tonight. Our reporter, who is also our reporter, is our WinCam president, who is over there. Oh.
Do you want to talk at all about the town meeting candidates, or
we can, if you have some information on them. I think we said there were contested races. In other words, like more than 8 candidates in all the precincts except one. Is that right?
Yeah, that's very true. So only precinct 8 had an open seat. They were all otherwise 8 candidates or more in each precinct. So it's an interesting group, and we have, they say, former select board people, 4 of those, and 2 former school committee, 2 current planning board, 1 current board of health, 1 town moderator, all running for a town meeting. So we're going to have in incumbent spots.
I've got it.
What do you do?
I do have the spreadsheet. It's a little awkward to read, but it's on the phone. But we do have our precinct by precinct, I think. This might be a challenge to try and read this on a phone. It would have been better on an iPad, but I don't think. Bear with me a moment. If you want to take a look at that.
You've already said that, Michelle Pryor at 2,823 votes.
Right.
Seamus Brady's 1,140. The interesting one on the planning board is Kerry Layton, 2,308. And Amy Belleville, 2019. And Nick Rosetto's 1,838. So that's official.
Well, preliminary. We always got to say
it's a wide enough margin.
Yeah, they were counting. Yeah, they were counting the mail-in ballots there. So this should be pretty close. I don't know if there are other things at the town clerk's office, absentee ballots or anything that needed to be counted. I also think that our station executive director is at home. We may have a crawl on the screen. I don't know. That was the plan, to have the total starting. There'd be a crawl on the screen. I don't know if that's happened. We can't see that here. Again, I was hoping to, but she emailed it. Okay.
All right. Well, it's fairly official that we see John Belair coming on to the school committee, Amy Belleville coming onto the planning board.
The margins were significant enough.
And Michelle Pryor keeping her seat on the select board. So those are the three interesting races. And of course, totally interesting is the override situation, which in the 53 to 47 failing, fairly close, but that does represent some of the other no votes that were on the general override in years past. So that's very interesting.
Give me a moment here. I think we're going to get these results in a more readable fashion. And we do. Okay. A little bit easier than reading it on the phone. There's our.
Do you want to read these?
Sure, we can do that. So, again, unofficial results are Michelle Pryor, 2,823 votes, versus Seamus, 1,140. I should have, I designed the spreadsheet, I should have done the percentages in there, but too late for that. Next year, I'll do that. Richard McKenzie, of course, with 2,985 votes in the Board of Assessors. Gregory Siricki with 2,869 for the Board of Health. Then the Planning Board was Kerry Layton at 2,308. Amy Bellevue, the challenger, at 2,019. And Nick Rosettios was 1,838. There we go. And again, recapping the school committee, Heather Von Meering at 1,841 and John Belair at 2,156. The results of the question was yes 2265 and no 2558. So I don't know if you want to comment on the particular precincts.
Well, actually, what is interesting to me is that Precinct 1 voted yes for the override, which was not a close vote, but Precinct 2 was no, Precinct 3 was yes, which they normally are a leader in the financial votes on the overrides, but it's relatively close, 426 to 293. Very, very close in Precinct 4, almost a tie. No by 2 votes, 333 to 331. Precinct 5 was a substantial no, and Precinct 6 was a substantial no. And over the years, Precinct 5 and 6 are kind of the swing precincts, I felt, on all the overrides. This is the 34th override vote, so we've had a chance to look at the precincts in the past. And really, when we see the overrides do well, 3, 4, and 7 usually are pretty strong. 7 was a no this time, where 1 was a yes. That's that's against the trend on the override votes, frankly. And Precinct 8 was a no, which is kind of a norm, but they were a close no. So this was not a usual, predictable turnout on the override, frankly, when you look at these numbers. What strikes me at the start here is substantial no in 5 and 6, which when the overrides win, either 5 and 6 is relatively neutral, or if they're in favor, that really gives you a strong chance that you're going to see the win. But that's why this is atypical on precincts 1 and 3 even. But certainly what you're going to look at when you study these numbers is whether or not there wasn't enough convincing in 5 and 6 to even make them closer to yes. It doesn't have to be a huge yes, but they needed to be closer.
Need to be closer, right?
Because it's a substantial difference in the outcome of the vote. In fact, when I look at this, if I do a quick add, the difference between the 2,500 plus no's and 2,200 yeses exists in 5 and 6 together. The difference. That's 150 plus there. That's 140 plus there. That's almost 300 votes. And look at it, it's a 300 vote difference.
Right.
So 5 and 6 made the difference here.
Made the difference.
That'll be the analyst for the state of the town will pick that up and take a look at what happened there.
It is interesting.
Versus other overrides. When you look at other overrides.
So 5 and 6 were the swing votes on that. I don't know if there's anything to be seen in the school committee votes. Belair seemed to be pretty consistent right across all the precincts. He would be, where is he? He's up on Highland Ave, which is precinct.
Who are you talking about?
John Belair.
Oh, John Belair. He's on precinct 2.
Precinct 2, okay.
So
he did very well there. But he actually he won every single precinct. Oh no, I'll take that back. No, it was 7. No, he did. No, I'm sorry. I got to put my glasses on. He did win 7. He carried every single precinct.
That's a very strong showing.
It is.
Solid campaign.
Well, I don't know if we have any more guests.
John.
Who is?
John.
John. Oh, he will. Okay. All right. So I guess we do have our school committee electee is coming. How do you read your notes?
I have just notes, things that you want to mention about the town meeting members. Precinct 1, we have 7 incumbents, Chris D'Angelo, Russo, and Marilyn Gadelis, who's a lifelong Precinct 1 person, very active, a former library employee in the Parent Teachers Organization. Meredith Mason Crowley, a special ed reading instructor. Enzo Gracianato, former Finance Committee, Capital Planning Committee, Town Manager Search Committee in 2022, and of course Dr. Greg Sawicki, Board of Health, and John Vicky, and Roger Wilson Jr., Finance Committee, 26 years in town meeting, and active with the Right Lock Farm as a founding board member. So that's your Precinct 1 town meeting candidates, a very substantial team from Precinct 1. We can go over the other ones, but we need to have a chance to talk to
I believe.
Mr.
Seamus.
How you doing? Nice to see you,
Welcome.
James. How are you?
Welcome to our
Doing
meeting.
great. Thank you so much. I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Oh, very good.
Thanks for.
You had a very interesting spring campaign period. You really got in there very high energy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I wanted to do something a little different. I think, first of all, I want to say it again. I already posted on Facebook. Congratulations to Michelle. She is great. She's been great. She'll continue to be great. And I really also want to congratulate John Belair, who got elected to school committee. He is the youngest person to ever get elected to school committee in Winchester. And we are so fortunate to have a recent Winchester High graduate on the school committee as a career educator. I've been in education for 22 years. 17 of those years in the public schools. We're so lucky to have someone like John. I am so excited. Obviously, the school committee will face a challenge given the results of the override vote, but I don't think we could have better people there. You know, we've got people who know data, who understand data, but also understand the classroom. You know, I was already talking to John, and I'm not gonna share what we were talking about, but you know, he knows what needs to be done in challenging times, and I know he's going to do a great job, and I know he's got 4 great people on the school committee to work with.
And you had your term on the school committee, so you.
I did have. I know a little bit about the school committee. I was fortunate to retire at, what was I? I was 41. That's the only thing I was able to retire at 41 from. So I'll probably be working until I'm 99. But I already tell people I'm enjoying retirement. You know, when people ask me, "Are you still in school committee?" I say, "Absolutely not. I am enjoying my retirement. One and done." You know, I very much admire George Washington. You both remember that he said he served 2 terms. They want him to keep going. He said, "No, we're done." And I strongly believe that. You know,
generous school committee pension, right?
Absolutely. I mean, when you're getting $0 a year, that really compounds over time. But anyways, I want to appreciate all the candidates. I said it in the debate. It takes so much to put your name out there. It's a stress on you. It's a stress on your family. It asks a lot of your family and your friends. And I so admire anyone who does it. Doesn't matter if I disagree with them 100%. I still respect that they did it. I will still sign to get them on the ballot. And I said that to plenty of people. And I hope more people run next time. In Arlington, I'm very biased. I'm born and bred in Arlington, okay? In Arlington, they this time around have some very competitive elections with many candidates. And I think that's great. That's what we need. Because the more people, the more ideas.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that, for me, that's what it's about. And it's more democracy. And this was great. You know, I think everybody campaigned hard, worked hard, and the outcome is exactly as the voters wanted. And I 110% respect that. And I love that. We're very lucky to be in this country. I don't think everyone always appreciates that. In a lot of other places, none of this happens. And I've been to a good number of those places. So,
Seamus, you brought humor, ideas, energy, spirit to the campaign, and you had it on the school committee. You brought it this time. You've got more coming. You've got more energy to give to the community.
I'll tell you, all my energy right now is going to go towards that residential tax exemption. So that's something that can be put in place in November. We need 3 members of the select board to vote yes for a residential tax exemption at whatever number they determine. And if you're not familiar with it, please research it. Concord has put it in place. Concord's a lovely place. I have a lot of friends there, and some of them are paying a lot more taxes as a result of it, and they're very happy with that. They're very okay with that because they can afford it. And that's what needs to happen in Winchester. So that's my next campaign, and that'll probably be my most important one, because I just want to end on this, because I want to let you guys get back to it. I spoke to a lot of people in this campaign who are struggling financially in Winchester, right? And they need help yesterday, last month, last year. This residential tax exemption has been in existence for over 40 years. So for over 40 years, we haven't done it. But it's never too late to do the right thing. So I am very excited. I'm confident the select board will do it this November. They all agreed that they were in agreement, 5 to 10%. Those are their words, not mine. And I will 100% hold them accountable to it. And I happen to live with one of them. So, you know, that's a nice benefit. So anyways, I just want to thank everybody who ran. I want to thank everybody who supported me. I want to thank everybody who supported the other candidates. I want to thank everybody who worked on the campaigns. I want to shout out Bill McGonigal on the Yes campaign, because he was out there so long, he worked so hard, and I just really admire that, because some people, as I said in the debate, some people talk a lot and some people work a lot. And I'm a worker, and I'm always impressed by workers. I'm also a talker, but I try to do both. So, all right, gentlemen, I appreciate you. Mariano, I appreciate you. Have a great night, everybody. And, you know, let's go Winchester. Let's keep it going. All right, take care. Thank you.
Dennis, thank you very much. Thanks for your,
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
running.
Steve. Thanks for coming by.
Great. Oh, there we go.
He does have a lot of energy, doesn't
High
he?
energy. Oh, he does. He showed it on his school committee work, and of course he's excited about John Belair coming on. So
Yes.
so John's a progressive candidate, as Seamus is. So we'll see how well that goes. Yeah, that's good.
Back to town meeting.
Well, we have a lot of incumbents in precinct 2. You know, we got John Belair, who's going to, I assume, be elected to town meeting. He was up at the top of the ballot, I think, right? So he'd be likely. Oh, Michelle Blumshack and Michael Galvin, David Judelson, Benjamin Keeler, Jay Melconian, Richard Rowan, Brian Sogoloff, all incumbents, and a new parent, Morocco, running for a seat, Sarah Yablon Smith. She's a new candidate. And there's an open seat in Precinct 2 for a write-in. Precinct 3 has a strong showing. We got Michelle Bergstrom as a candidate for town meeting incumbency. She is finishing 9 years on the school committee. She went on in 2017, and she left the open seat that John Belair is going to take now. Rachel Chidley goes 4 years in Winchester, running for a new seat. She wants to be part of it. John Fallon in Precinct 3, a former select board. Joe Friedman, an engineering background, running for office as a new member. Lance Grenza back in Precinct 3, of course, past chair of the select board, past chair of the planning board, citizen of the year, I think 23.
Good name recognition
I think,
there.
you know, it's really something.
Yep.
All the time he spent 8 years on the planning board, 6 on the select board. Lisa Jason was active in the farmers market and environmental health expert. Susan Kaufman-Lewis, the League of Women Voters in Wright Block Farm. Gary Layton, of course, on the planning board. Dr. Vincent Catalano. And Jared Sheehan, the Finance Committee, Capital Planning Committee, running for town meeting. And of course, 1 year seat that Jennifer Inferno is the only candidate for. But that's a strong group for Precinct 3. And in Precinct 4, we've got the incumbents, Jared Cummings, Steve Engel, John Healy, who's active in environmental or community issues in Webster. He's bringing his talents to Winchester, running there. Brian McCarthy, incumbent, Lee Schott, who's retired, well, actually, not retired, but a political science grad, so she's interested in that. Susan Schwartz, the Family Action Network, Aaron Schwarn, Mei-Ling Tuan, Kavana Aptayar, and Brian Vernalia. Brian Vernalia, of course, is the current chair of the planning board, vice chair of capital planning, WHH grad, Winchester High grad. I should have said that about Lance Grenza back, too. All these local guys coming to serve the town. But Brian is past school committee, Brian Vernalia, but current chair of the planning board of capital planning. Precinct 5, you got Donna Ashton running for office, law practice, Charlene Band, another League of Women Voters on Wright Lock Farm board of directors, Gregory Bilton, who's the president of the VO Parents Group, running for the office, Peter Steinmetz, past chair of the Finance Committee, Nora Cooney, a parent with school kids, Mario Golubov, past chair of the Finance Committee and Select Board. How about that?
And behind the camera tonight.
2017 to 23
And behind the camera
on
tonight.
the Select Board. A guy has got unbelievable talent. He's amazing. And, yep. But chairing both the FinCom and the Select Board over time. And Mariano, we appreciate it. Fabulous. Fabulous guy. Kathleen Hughes, Finance Committee. Stephanie Mignaggi, who went on the school committee last year in capital planning, and she's running for town and planning board one term. I changed Katie Scott, who's interested in landscape architecture and other things, but she's still going to town meeting and former planning board. And we have 3 seats open on the planning board for 1 year. So John Snow and 3 candidates. So they're all going to go in. John Snow on the Finance Committee and Mount Vernon House Board. Carolyn Stout, the Climate Action Committee for her. And Nick Troisi, who's the Vice Chair of the Council on Aging. So those 2 people are coming on for Precinct 5.
Yep.
In Precinct 6, we're getting through the list here. Michael Betancourt in his 4th term on the Select Board, went on in 2015. New candidate, Johnny Cacciola, Jeffrey Calabrese, who's a lawyer with a private equity firm, Robert Colt, who happens to be the chair of the Town Democratic Committee.
Yes. He's a longtime chair of it, I believe,
Active in Middlesex DA's office, AG's office, too. Town moderator, Philip Frateroli, candidate for re-election at town meeting. Town moderator asked to run for town meeting, too. Patrick Matheson, finance.
Actually, now there's a question.
Yep.
Does the moderator have to be a town meeting member? I don't think he does.
No, the guy can be elected townwide, or the gal can be elected townwide, but not be a town meeting member.
Right.
That's true. Rich Nucci, somebody mentioned Patrick Matheson. He's Finance Committee 2021 to 23. Rich Mucci, former chair of the Select Board. And Louis Marshall Roach, the 4th, and Catherine Tomey also round out the Precinct 6. And 7 is Megan Blackwell, a one-time Finance Committee member and chair of the Finance Committee. Stephen Campbell, a long-time town meeting member. Jennifer Heffley, Winchester Foundation for Education Excellence. Amy Hogan, new candidate. Thomas Hopcroft, school committee, of course, former chair of the school committee, still on the school committee, and a candidate for state senate in 2026, Tom Hopcroft.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Gene Jones for a 2nd term at town meeting. Lorraine Lennon, new candidate. And Ron Lesperance, who's 15 plus years at town meeting. Christina Marshall, who's board of directors for Children's Own School. David Rogan, who's a former teacher in history and language at Reading and a civil trial attorney, a big background running for town meeting. Brian Rowan, who's a 10-year resident of the town and an incumbent at town meeting. And Precinct 8 rounds out with Catherine Bauer and incumbent Donald Bradford, longtime incumbent, 15 or so years. Michael Crane, the chair of the Field Management Committee, which is a very busy committee on the field management. Russell Gay, incumbent. Reagan, I mentioned Reagan McCain, town meeting since 2017, Names Committee. Rebecca Sliz, executive director of the Committee on Social Justice. She's been active on social justice. And Allison Swallow, and an open seat in Precinct 8. But that's a fairly strong representation of the town committee.
And we should say Precinct 8 is the only one where we can say everybody got elected.
Open seat, yeah. Everybody gets elected.
Yeah, the other ones did have more than 8 candidates for.
Well, that's what's going on. Yeah.
Look in my email, okay?
That's a deal.
Bear with me.
Dealing with you.
Technology here.
The technology, not our strong suit.
Well, in all fairness to us, this is, uncharted territory here. Let's see if I can get back.
New. How can there be something new every year for 40 years? How's that happen?
I don't know. Trying to get back to my email. I think we have. Well, my email doesn't want to come back. We have town meeting results.
Oh, yeah, we need to have notes.
I can't seem to get. Why can't I get back to my email? Going back. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so new mail. Okay, I got it.
Oh, very good. Very good.
I think I'm getting it. I think.
So here we go.
Happen.
One. And,
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, they all break down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So very good. So 9 write-ins, precinct 1. So precinct 1, we have the 8 candidates elected. That's pretty good. And we've got, let me get my precinct 8, precinct 1 people. So John Vickery is the new candidate, but he came in, did very well on the votes. He is the 8th finisher of the 8th. The 7 incumbents actually were the top 7 voters. Krista Renzone Russo, Amanda Lewis, Enzo Racianato, Meredith Mason Crowley, John Vickery, Marilyn Gonzalez, and Greg Sawicki and Roger Wilson, all elected on town meeting precinct 1. So that's.
Can you read these a little easier, or?
No.
Unfortunately, you got to do a quick scan to see who didn't get elected.
Right. So in precinct 2, just David Judelson is not returning, but we had Michelle Blumsack and Richard Rowan. We had Mike Alvin, Benjamin Keeler. Here's Sarah Yvonne Smith, who's a new candidate and was elected to come on to town meeting. John Blair, of course, did well as well. Michelle Blumsack topped the ticket on the precinct 2, but John did very well. Jay Melkonian and Brian Sutherland. So with Sarah and John Blair are the 2 new candidates for precinct 2 to come on. And
this may be a little easier to read. It looks like the
there were 16 write-ins.
it looks like the unelected are in a non-boldface type.
There you go. Right.
So
Dr. Catalano did not get elected in precinct 3.
right,
But,
and John Fallon did,
but
which is very surprising. I think.
Exactly right. So that's a surprise. John Fallon, former Board of Select Board, and Dr. Vincent Catalano, substantial physician and active and interested in the community health. But there you go. Hello, Kerry.
Kerry's about to join us.
We're going to take a
We'll put
break
these
from
on
the
hold.
town meeting report.
Right.
And say hello to Kerry Layton. How are you, Kerry?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Kerry.
Good. How about that, huh? And congratulations on a very, very successful campaign. You did a wonderful job expressing yourself in the campaign for all the work that you did in the first term that you just completed.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for hosting this evening, and thank you to everyone who put their faith in me. I take that very seriously.
The surprise in a way is because you did such a good presentation with Nick Rizzettos on what a good team you were presenting, and Amy came forward, Amy Belleville, with a discussion about housing issues and her own experience with the zoning and the planning board, and she obviously made a good case to the electorate.
She did. I'm excited to work with any of them. I enjoyed working with Nick. I would have been happy to continue with him. I have met Amy. We served together on the state of the town. She is very excited to serve on planning board. She has a printed copy of the bylaws. I know she's very ready to join us on day one, prepared to do a lot of hard work, and I'm excited to work with her.
Well, you do so much work. I have to say, we discussed when this show started tonight that I don't know that I've ever seen a busier planning board. It's always been busy, but the work that has happened over the last few years. Waterfield, North Main, the lot right here, over and over, the things that you've been in the middle of is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think we were at an inflection point in town where it was time to grow, and we had the momentum, we had the interest to take projects that had been tabled for a long time and move them forward, and we had a board that was ready and willing to listen and do some work, and I'm glad we got some good stuff done.
Well, I think
Lots more to come.
You're dealing with the pressure beautifully, but the pressure to increase where it can be the commercial opportunities and the residential opportunities, and both together, it's a pretty tough task. And yeah.
It's a hard balance, and we are surrounded by towns that have a lot of space to build out their commercial tax base, and we really don't have that space. So it's a hope that a lot of people have, but in our town, the reality is that the best way to increase our commercial is with residential on top of it, unless we take neighborhoods and turn them into shopping malls, which we're not willing to do. So the reality is that the residents carry the major tax burden, but we'll keep working on inviting businesses to town and improving the quality of the existing commercial tax base and making room where we can for more.
Well, it makes for campaign issues for sure, because it's a strong interest and people are watching and people have their own ideas and nothing is easy. And so it does make for a spirited campaign and a lot of work to be done.
It does. I love that we had so many competitive seats. I think it was a very robust discussion. We had a good turnout, and we have a lot to think about. We got some big results today. The master plan was funded by the override, so we'll need to revisit that if we're going to do that work. That's a really important townwide discussion. So lots to come.
Well, you came on with an open seat 3 years back, and was it as busy as you thought it would be? A little more.
Well, remember, I was on the Conservation Commission when we reviewed 10 Converse, so I think I came in with managed expectations, but it was a pretty spicy 3 years.
You should say so. Well, you did, and Nick made the point in the campaign that you'll bring in from the Conservation Commission another point of view, which is so important to the planning. And I think Amy will bring in also her own point of view, and you'll still have a very broad representation on the planning board of different skills.
Yeah, I think it's a nice balance. Yeah.
What I had commented earlier, which was pretty interesting to me, is that you've got a broad scope of town-wide representation, because we have 5 different precincts represented, and that's not always been true.
That's true, and you reminded me to thank the folks in Precinct 3 who trusted me with their vote as well. I look forward to working together with our precinct to make some tough decisions in the face of the override.
Well, that's what Amy brings. She brings Precinct 7, so we don't have 2 threes. But now we have 5 different on the select board, the planning board, and the school committee. I think that's the case.
It's a nice balance. It makes for really good discussions.
All right, well, we know something.
Thank you for taking the time.
Really, thank you for all you're doing.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the support.
Okay, take care.
All right, I think we're running out of time here, so we should quickly look at our precincts here. Again, the ones not in boldface are unelected there. If we just want to recap those, I don't know if John Belair is going to join us, but we are running an hour and a half here. We need to wrap up.
Precinct 4, the winners of the seats are Stephen Engel, Brian Vanalia, Brian McCarthy, Susan Schwartz, Jared Cumming, Celine Kimberly, Neelin Trong, and Ravana Papadayai. And not successful, Lee Schatz and John Healy. Precinct 5, Nora Cooney wins, and Gregory Pilton, Peter Scheimitz, Catherine Hughes, Mariano Goluboff. I meant to mention Winchester Public Schools there as well. Very important. And Charlene Band, and Donna Ashton, and Stephanie Mignoggi. The successful candidates for town meeting precinct 5. And also, I mentioned earlier the winners for the 1 year, 3 different seats in precinct 5, Nicholas Troisi, Carolyn Stott, and John Snow. Precinct 6, winners are Patrick Madison, Michael Betancourt, Jeffrey Calabrese, Richard Mucci, Rich Mucci, Catherine Tomey, Philip Frateroli, Jonathan Colt. And Precinct 7, the winners are Christina Marshall, David Rogers, Jennifer Heffley, Megan Blackwell, Thomas Hopcroft, Gene Jones, Amy Hogan, and Stephen Campbell. And in Precinct 8, all those on the ballot, Catherine Bauer, Michael Crane, Reagan McCain, Rebecca Sliz, Russell Gay, Allison Swallow, and Donald Bradford. And we're going to have a write-in ballot for the 8th seat. If not, the town precinct 8 will elect that at town meeting. And we have Russell, did I mention? Yeah, Russell Gay, Allison Swallow, and Donald Bradford I did. So that's great. The ballot question, as we know, was a no, 2,558 to 2,265.
Interesting. Well, it's been an interesting night here. I don't think we have any other candidates coming in at this point. So we are going to, I think
Want to wrap it up?
we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Again, we're here live at Lucia's. We want to thank Phil Frateroli for hosting us here tonight. A little bit different presentation than at the studio, but we had a few little technological challenges, but we overcame them because we're very adaptable, I think.
Well, we have to be. Things happen. I just want to say, and I appreciated Seamus Brady coming down and what he talked about and the spirited elections in our neighboring community. I commented earlier, and we've been doing this for a while, and I think the level of talent and commitment that's going on in town government here in Winchester is top-notch. And the new candidates that are coming in, the spirited campaigns they ran, the talent that we saw put forward, even though it was successful, the amount of work to show what this town has now, could have in the future, what we'll do in between. The people who are helping this community thrive and grow through volunteer efforts to support the town employees we have that are top-notch. It's impressive, and you and I see it firsthand.
We do. Yep.
And I know what Seamus says about lots of candidates, but truthfully, the candidates we've had have been top-notch.
Right. No, we had a good run here. A lot of talent running, and but we are. Again, if you just joined us, two things happened. Oh, we're about to get.
Great to be with you.
I think we're great to be with you as well. And I think we are wrapping up. Alan Iden, Alan McDonald, we thank you for watching us for our election results.
Thank you very much.